Welcome to the Occupational Safety Leadership Podcast, episode number 186. In today's episode, we will talk about soliciting employee input. Um, this is an area that I wish I focused on when I was a very young safety professional. I thought I knew it all. I'm smart. I don't really got to get input from people. The guys, well, not just guys, but the people who work on these, I don't know, equipment, machinery, they operate it, they do this stuff, they do the maintenance, and they are the real experts at the hazards, the energy controls out there, and all that. And I think most people understand that, who are listening to the podcast. But let's talk about the different ways that we can get this input from folks. So for me, now, I'm not going to say that my strategies are, awesome and excellent every time because a lot of times it's really situation dependent. Really like to walk the floor and just literally talk to folks, you know. So that's not always good for some people. They just don't have that level of comfort with the workforce out there. And I'd say, well, then figure out how to get that level of comfort out there. So you can't use every single conversation exactly the same. So let's use a couple of examples. If you know that somebody's into football, you can start the conversation by football. If you know that somebody is into dogs and things, you start the conversation with dogs. You're helping to break down those barriers so that you do get that input out there. Some people they're coming into the workplace and they're bringing a lot of things from other work environments. Maybe they've been told don't give input. And not that giving input to safety is wrong, maybe just giving input at all is not seen in a very productive manner. Your job is to work. You work. When there's a problem, you say problem is, somebody solves problem, you get back to work. There's a lot of folks that have been in the workplace for a long time, and maybe they've tried to bring up these things with previous safety professionals, management supervisors, all that stuff, and it's been squashed. So this gives them another opportunity to maybe bring this stuff up and have these conversations, because I can write a fantastic SOP from my cube. Doesn't mean it really has any good merit because if I'm not talking to the folks who run this thing all day, every day, getting input from those folks, and not just that, but even running a couple drafts by those guys. Am I really capturing it? Because even if I think I've captured it, maybe I've captured it using vernacular and phrases and things that they don't really understand too. So at times you sit down and say, how can I tailor my message to reach the greatest amount of folks out there? I wish I could say that I've come up with a way that 100% I've tailored it every time, and I've never not done that. Haven't quite got to that point yet, because you really got to sit down and get input from the folks. Um, and so what kind of stemmed this podcast episode? I was talking to a safety professional, and he basically said that his boss said that if he's not at his desk, he's not working, you know. So all of us know as safety professionals, you do have to do some paperwork. Let's face it, you can't always be away from your desk. But if you're not out there literally looking at things, talking to people, looking at how things are going, of course, you may not have a really good objective view of the hazards out there. You may have a good view of what people tell you the hazards are out there, but if you're not proactively seeking input from the folks, you're probably missing a chunk of the hazards out there. So a lot of the old timers, of course, prior to the days of computers, does sound kind of funny, there things like SOPs and all that, they did it in a typing it out and all that. But because it was so laborious, a lot of things just didn't get written down just because it was so hard, it was difficult to change a document. And the attitude a lot of times was work, just get it done, and then you go home and then you come back tomorrow and work and get it done. So I think at this point I'm just rambling on, but I think all of us understand that we're going to be missing the key part to hazard assessment if we don't get that employee input. So, all right, episode 186 is complete. I want to thank everybody for joining me today. Please take a couple seconds and repost this and share it with other safety professionals. Thank you and have a safe day.